Hello students! Today we are here together to have our Clil lesson. We're going to use your material Anglo, língua inglesa. And first I'm going to correct some exercises that I ask you to do as homework. So please grab your book and open it on page 27. Okay? 27. The first exercise that you have done is a text comprehension. Oops, sorry. That's it, page 27. Nice. And you need to check the best option. The text is a book synopsis, that's it. Okay? Guestman, Elon, and Simric are writers. Hip hop and punk are culture movements. New York, São Paulo, and Mumbai are mega cities. Now page 28. On page 28 you need to do exercise 2. Okay, let's check. Okay. Question A. What facilitates the merge of diverse cultures nowadays? So how is it easy to have this huge diversity nowadays? Because of easy travel and the internet. So both help to spread the culture. Letter B. Which models of urban expressions are mentioned in the text? They talk about graffiti. They talk about skateboarding. DJing. Music, design, photographic, visual art. There are many, okay? So let's write photo, visual art. Okay. All right. If you need, remember that you can pause the video and check the meaning later. Okay? Let's continue with our exercise 3. You have some words and you are going to use them to complete the text. The story was largely ignored by the mainstream press, but the alternative media made it public. Mainstream is like a media convencional. Mainstream media. Great. Next one is my grandfather always listened to old records on his 1970s turntable. That is the equipment that they used to play vinyl. That's a turntable. Good. Next, the government corruption scandal received extensive media coverage, that is to talk about cobertura da mídia, but nothing happened to the politicians involved in it. Then we have the 1930s were a time of high employment and economic hardship. a difficult period of time. Okay, hardship. Next one. Is the only sound in the room during the test was a back and forth. What is back and forth? É aquele movimento de vai e volta. So when you have a pencil and you go and you write, there is a sound. This sound is a back. Here. Back and forth. Good. In the 1970s, the band began to wane, that is the last word, and means going down. As new bands and ramps start to attract teen fans. Okay, here, exercise 4, you should complete with object or subject pronoun. Remember, subject pronouns, we are talking about sujeitos, I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Object pronouns, after the verb, me, you, him, her, it's, us, them. So let's check. Dear Jack, one of my friends at school is a great writer and composer, but he keeps telling me, I have the verb tell, after the verb I use an object pronoun, telling me that he's not good enough. I told him. How can you say it or say that? How could you say it or that? Your poems and songs are really great, but before the verb pronoun, he doesn't believe me. Ele não acreditava em mim. And he doesn't want to show his work to anybody else. How can I help? Como eu posso ajudá-lo? How can I help him? Help after the verb object pronouns. Good friend, some people are not so self-confident and sometimes it is difficult to make them fazê-los acreditar. Verb make after the verb I use an object pronoun. They are good. Verb are in front of the are I use subject. They are good at something. Don't lose hope. Try to convince him to show his work to a teacher or a relative. He admires. Admire is the verb and he is our subject. Okay? In our unit 4, that is the next unit, it focuses in graffiti. Do you like this kind of art? Do you like graffiti? Where can you see this kind of painting? Here in Foz do Iguaçu. Where is possible to see? While we are walking on the street, we can see graffiti in many walls. Yeah? Sometimes in windows. And some graffiti, they have a message. They write something. And almost all the time, they are criticizing social problems. Okay, let's start. I have already asked you this question, so you don't need to answer. The pre-reading. When you see a piece of graffiti on building or wall, which word or phrase comes to your mind? So when you see a graffiti, what comes to your mind? That is self-expression. Self-expression is se expressar, né? Se auto-expressar. Gangs, art, movement, vandalism, a way to expose social problems. It is involved with hip-hop. You think, wow, look how colorful shapes and lettering are there. You think about violence or a different idea. You can take more than one. How do you feel when you see a piece of graffiti? You feel happy, surprised, angry, shocked? It's all personal, okay? Now let's do the reading. Page 31. Anyone walking in a city can observe colorful and provocative pieces of graffiti. Some people consider these spray-painted pieces as nonsense, but others recognize graffiti as a legitimate form of art. Although its artistic merits can be denied, graffiti is still considered by many a form of vandalism. Artists tag both public and private property, which becomes costly for taxpayers and business and property owners. When most people think of graffiti, they imagine tags, that is, a stylized writing of a person's name. Tags are probably the most popular forms of graffiti, but graffiti art is much more than that. It can mean a colorful mural with a message of diversity or a black and white stencil piece protesting police. In each case, graffiti art makes a statement. It is very common to see graffiti art in public space, but after years of gaining recognition by the art community, graffiti art has been shown in various galleries in New York and London, and artists are often asked to do legal mural and other works for art shows. One of the most famous graffiti artists is Banksy. He lives in Europe, and no one really knows who he is, but his artwork is one of the most recognizable within the graffiti world. Like all other artist forms, it is possible to see movements or changes in style in graffiti art. These changes involve tools and also the messages. Graffiti are usually intended to criticize political, social, and economic issues. This is proof that graffiti is a form of art and not just a result from random acts and vandalism. The graffiti community moves in different directions and the resultant artwork moves with it. So according to this text, in the writer's opinion, graffiti has always been considered a form of art. People always believe that graffiti is an art. Sometimes graffiti is considered an expression of vandalism. Sometimes people see the graffiti and say, wow, this is a vandalism. Or there is enough evidence not to consider an act of vandalism. It's option B, that sometimes people believe that graffiti is a vandalism. Okay. Useful language is going to be your homework. You can use a dictionary to help you. You can search on Google Translator, for example, for the meaning of the word. Okay, so match the word with the meaning. And you also have to do this true or false. So according to the text, you are going to decide if the sentences are true, false, are not mentioned. They don't speak about it on the text. Alright? So you have two homeworks to do. Useful language and exercise 3. That's it for today, guys. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.